The Persians' counteroffensive efforts were seen in a variety of battles and different locations. Though it can be considered part of the Ionian offensive campaign, the first example of the Persians attacking the Ionians was seen in the Battle of Ephesus. The Battle of Ephesus happened in response to the Ionians' attack on Sardis. The Persians gained support of the Lydians and traveled to Sardis to raid the Ionians. After realizing that the Greeks had left, they followed their tracks to Ephesus, where they caught up to them. The Persians' ability to catch the Greeks showed that they most likely rode horses, again proving the Persians' advanced military strength. This was also a very strategic attack. They chose to wear the Greeks down until defeat was unavoidable. The strategy worked, and the Greeks proved to be no match for the Persian army, who went on to kill many Ionians, including Euclides. Other Greeks were forced to return to their home city or sail back to Greece. A second example of the Persian counteroffensive was in 497 BC. Darius, leader of Persia, went through a major reform in 497. He assigned 3 of his brothers to take charge of 3 armies. His first brother, Darius, went for Hellespont and used a very tactical strategy. In doing so, he not only conquered Hellespont, but also many other cities around it. Darius' second brother, Hymenaeus, he took his army to Propontis, and later his third brother would join in the campaign against Ionia. It was years later when Aristagoras chose to leave the city of Miletus, as well as the revolt behind. He took his faction and began an attack on Thrace. There is much debate why he did this. Some people believe that he couldn't deal with the lack of success the revolt had. Others believe there is a problem within Miletus that he did not want to have to deal with. I, however, believe that he went to Thrace in order to search for natural resources that he believed to be there. It was in Thrace that Aristagoras was killed. This began the downward spiral of the revolt. He was the original inspiration behind the uprising. Offensive efforts by the Persians continued during the Battle of Marsyas. Caria, after deciding to join the revolt, was targeted immediately by Persia. A river that lay between the Persians and the Carians became a large factor in this battle. The Carian king suggested that his army cross the river. The idea behind this was to stop the Persians in their tracks and not allow them to come into the city whatsoever. However, the people disagreed. They decided to keep the Carian army in the city and make the Persians cross the river. Doing this made the city more protected. However, the Persians ended up overpowering them anyway. Though the Persians' first and second attempt against the Carians was extremely successful, the third one was almost the complete opposite. After the original attack by the Persians, the Carians still had enough strength to regroup. They wanted to get redemption against the Persians, so to do so, they ambushed them on the road that went through Pedasus. The Persians arrived at the road during night, and the Carians put their plan into play. The element of surprise worked in their favor as they destroyed the Persian army. Though the Carian army may not have been as advanced or as strong as the Persians were not ready for the surprise attack. This was significant for 2 reasons. One, it was one of the biggest losses for the Persians during their counteroffensive campaign. Secondly, it put a partial stalemate on the war for a couple of years, and both sides became less active. For one of the final battles, the Persians focused a major attack on Miletus, the center of the revolt. In order to increase their chances of success, they not only attacked on land, but also on sea. The Ionians responded with a joint force that included Phoenicians, Cyprus, Cilicia, and Egypt. Their strategy was to focus on the sea attacks while letting the Milesians deal with the battle on land. To prepare, the Ionians moved their sea defense to Lade. It was at this point that both sides recognized that the bulk of this battle would take place on the water. The Persians were not sure if they could take the Ionians, so they ordered all their tyrants to Lade and told them to try to convince the Ionians to come to the Persian side. This ended with the Cimmerians agreeing to side with the Persians. When the battle began, the Cimmerians stayed true to their word and backed off. This caused for other Greek alliances, such as the Lesbians, to retreat. This weakened the Ionian forces significantly. They now had little to no chance of winning the battle.